Hey everyone, welcome back to Strange Minds 6. I'm your host Ruby, and today we're gonna get back into the Book of the Bizarre, Freaky Facts and Strange Stories by Varla Ventura. Before we begin, I would like to thank you guys for the likes and the follows. It really does mean a lot to us. And if you have any recommendations, please leave them down below in the comments, and I will definitely look over them and see what I can do to go ahead and read a book that you guys are interested in, or even video games, playing a video game that you guys are interested to. That definitely, I can possibly do. But we're gonna get into this, and before we do, I want to say, please grab your drinks or your snacks, or if you don't want that, sit back, relax, and let's get into it. Jung and his patient. One night after returning home from a lecture he had given, Carl Jung lay awake in bed for a long time. At about 2 o'clock he had fallen asleep when he awoke with a start and had the feeling that someone had come into the room. He even thought that the door had been hastily opened. He turned on the light, but there was no one there. The room was still and quiet. He even leapt from his bed to check the corridor, which was also eerily quiet. He tried to recall exactly what had happened and why he had the urgent feeling that someone had come into the room. It suddenly occurred to him that he had been awakened by a feeling of dull pain, as though something had struck him in the forehead and then the back of the skull. The following day, Jung received a telegram telling him that one of his patients had committed the S word. The man had unalived himself, and it was the focus of the head area, hence why Jung felt what he felt on his forehead and the back of his skull. I do want to give a disclaimer, like a trigger warning and everything. Some of these stories do have talk of suicide or murder or even abuse and rape and stuff. So I do want to give that trigger warning. I don't read these stories ahead to give you guys my authentic reaction. So I do just want to say that I do apologize in advance, but I want to, before anything or any other stories that I read, do give a trigger warning for it. Back to the book. Messy message. Are you prone to slovenly ways when dining, food always falling off your fork and dropping onto your clothes? This may be a message from the beyond. Judica Ills, known psychic and witch, tells us that the action can be a result of our ancestors trying to get your attention. She recommends setting up communication with them and then seeing if your table manners improve. Huh, I didn't know that. That's actually interesting. Everlasting green. The EcoPod is 100% biodegradable coffin made from paper, untreated plywood, and fair trade bamboo, and or hand-woven willow. The Natural Burial Company makes these eco-conscious vessels for the afterlife in a variety of colors, linens, and styles. Wake up. In January of 2008, an 81-year-old Chilean man woke up at his funeral, his own funeral. His family dressed him in his finest suit and laid him out for a proper wake, only to witness him opening his eyes mid-morning. Upon waking, he simply asked for a glass of water. The family was overjoyed. Wow. How would you guys react if you actually saw somebody that passed away that you love dearly, and then all of a sudden, boom, they just wake up and open their eyes in the coffin? I'd probably freak out. As much as I love the paranormal, I would honestly probably freak out and just be like, I don't know, I would be speechless. Corpses on campus. In the 18th and 19th centuries, medical schools in the United States used to routinely get their cadavers for dissection by grave robbing. Faculty members and students themselves made midnight raids on local graveyards. It became the custom among grieving survivors in university towns to place iron bars on new graves and hire armed guards for 2 weeks until the body had time to putrefy enough to make it unusable for research. Between 1752 and 1852, there were at least 13 riots by citizens against grave robbing medical schools, including one in 1788 in New York City that killed 8 people and injured scores of others. Also, just a heads up, I am reading, and as I'm doing that, my dog decided to eat, so you might hear her in the background. I do apologize for that. But let's get back to it. Haunted campuses across the USA. University of Washington, Seattle. The College Inn pub is haunted by a centuries-old murder victim. Yale University, New Haven, Connecticut, Woolsey Hall has hosted more than a dozen phantom concerts near its old organ. University of California, Berkeley. The school's Sather Tower is haunted by the ghost of a student who leapt from the tower in the 1960s. University of the South, Sewanee, Tennessee. Students over the years have reported a horrifying headless apparition at various locations across the campus. The ghost is seen in a traditional gown and is believed to be the spirit of a student who wore such a gown and was decapitated in a car accident. Zombie walk. Do you like to walk with the dead? Prefer the moans of animated corpses to conversations with mortals? Well, you should probably join or organize a zombie walk. A zombie walk or zombie march is an organized public gathering of 2 or more people who dress as zombies and wander around, limping their way in an in an organized route to a public center or cemetery. What a stress reliever. That's actually pretty cool. Run to the Light, Carol Ann. Poltergeists, noisy, active ghosts with the ability to control matter, were originally thought to be mischievous spirits. More modern beliefs target troubled teens as the source of alleged poltergeist activities. Many psychics believe activity attributed to poltergeists is actually caused by adolescents unwittingly performing psychokinesis. Signs of poltergeist hauntings include objects being thrown about, knockings, tappings, and rappings of unknown origins, and generally very disruptive. An adolescent or teenager living in the home and experiencing emotional turmoil, paranormal activity that stops when the teen is absent, or the last one is apparitions that are not usually seen. Venetian fairies. Spirits who dress in white and appear most often during the enchanting Venetian nights are said to be the Fade or fairies. They are thought to be the spirits of women who died in childbirth. They appear to be beautiful young ladies, but are in fact treacherous. They have deformed feet, sometimes goat feet. Chapter 8. Sympathy for the Devil. Strange rock and roll stories. Secret spooky messages. Backmasking, an audio technique in which sounds are recorded backwards onto a track that is meant to be played forward, is a deliberate process. Backward messaging is similar, but it may be unintentional. Backmasking has been a source of much controversy, especially related to the supposed subliminal messages it may provide. Many musicians have been reported to use backmasking in their records, and several of them have quite possibly intentionally included secret messages in their music when played backwards. You be the judge. Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven. Original lyrics. If there's a bustle in your hedgerow, don't be alarmed now. It's just a spring clean for the May Queen. Yes, there are 2 paths you can go by, but in the long run there's still time to change the road you're on. Played backwards. Oh, here's to my sweet Satan, the one whose little path would make me sad, whose power is Satan. He'll give those with him 666. There was a little tool shed where he made us suffer, sad Satan. Wow, I didn't even know that. The Beatles, I'm So Tired. Original lyrics. While played forward, there is a segment that may sound like indistinguishable gibberish. Played backwards, the same segment is quite alarming when played backwards. What comes out rather clearly is, Paul is a dead man, miss him, miss him, miss him. Sheesh. Satan loves heavy metal. Satanic messages are allegedly to be found throughout heavy metal music. Slayer's 1985 album Hell Waits is a prominent example of hidden satanic messages in music. The album starts with a demonic sounding voice that, when played backwards, urges listeners to join us over and over at increasing volumes. The Cradle of Filth song, Dinner at Deviant's Palace, consists almost entirely of ambient sounds and a reversed reading of the Lord's Prayer. In the Middle Ages, being able to say the Lord's Prayer backwards was thought to be a sign that someone was a witch. See, why do I always give us bad names? Continuing, another lesser-known example is in the Alan Parsons Project album, The Turn of a Friendly Card. At the very end of the first track, May Be a Price to Pay, a backward message is inserted. Played forward, the English words are, Something's been going on. May be a price to pay. Played in reverse, the message is in clear Spanish is, Escucha, baby, al demonio es bien fácil, which translates to, in English, listen, baby, to the demon, it's so easy. The International Strange Music Festival. In Olive Hill, Kentucky, the International Strange Music Festival was founded to honor people who make music from non-musical items. Performers have included a Japanese trio playing My Old Kentucky Home on a table upside down, strung like a cello, a teapot, a wind instrument, and assorted pots and pans, bongo drums. Other sets of performers were a 15-piece orchestra of automobile horns, a 7-foot slide whistle requiring 3 people to operate it, and a graduated clanger, a system of ever-small fire alarm bells played like a xylophone. Well then. See, I would not mind seeing that. That would actually be really, really cool. But, as always, my dear friends, we will talk next time in the next video. This is Ruby, signing off.